Good morning, students. So today seems to be the last lecture. So let us do the problems related to this. Okay, yesterday we saw subtraction of two vectors, right? So yesterday we saw how to subtract vectors, even though we don't have the formula for subtraction, but we can still subtract vectors, right? And how do you subtract vectors? You can write it as a. You can convert the subtraction into addition. So how you can do that? A plus minus b. Okay? That's what we had seen yesterday. Now let's go ahead and today what we are going to do is we are going to find the magnitude of a minus b. What is the magnitude, right? So let's see. So before this, if you remember, we know what is a plus b formula. That is under root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. Right? That is a plus b. But I'm going to tell you what is a minus b. And that is root of a square plus b square. That minus will come here. Minus 2abc. Right? So that is the formula for subtraction. Take this down. Right, so let's go ahead. Now a particle is moving with 5 meter per second, um, and its velocity changes to 5 meter per second northward. So initially it is moving westward, then it changes to northward. The change in the velocity you have to find out. What will be the change in the velocity? So let's do this. So initially it is westward 5. Let's call it u, right? So this is u in the west direction initially. Right? And then finally it is u in the north direction. Finally u in the north direction. And you have to find out v2 minus v1. What will be? What will it be? Means v2 means final velocity minus initial velocity. You have to find out, right? So let's see how we can do that. Now this is related to j cap and this is related to minus I cap, right? Or fine, you don't want to write that, you can leave it like that only. So how do you find out the difference v2 minus v1? Let's see how we can do that. So we know the formula. What is the formula, guys? We just saw for subtraction. You have to find v2 minus v1 magnitude. So we know the formula is root of v2 square. What we saw here, no? Root of a square plus b square minus 2abc. The same thing we can apply here. Root of v2 square plus v1 square minus 2 v1 v2 cos theta. But if you see v2 and v1 both are what? This is v2 vector, this is v1 vector. And both magnitudes are what? U and u. So it will become root of u square plus u square minus 2 u into cos of angle between them. What is the angle between these guys? 90 degrees. Right? So cos of 90. And we close it. And cos 90 is how much? Cos 90 is 0. So that becomes root of u square plus u square, which is root 2u. Right? In other words, root 2 into u, and u is how much? 5. So it is 5 root 2. So we have this option and this option, correct? Now how will you find out the direction? Because they are also asking direction towards northeast or northwest. That also we have to find out. So how will you find out direction? Think about it. What to do to find out direction? So v2 minus v1 we have to do, no? So this can be written as we'll do it here v2 and v1, right? And we have to do v2 minus v1, that's v2 plus minus v1, right? So for that we need something called minus v1. So this is v1 and this is minus v1, right? And what we have to add, figure out, we have to add v2 with minus v1. So this v2 and this minus v1, and you have to add those two guys, right? So let's add them. Add which quantities? v2 and minus v1. v2 and minus v1, we have to add them. And I can use which law to add them? Since tails are together, I can use parallelogram law, right? So I'll draw a parallelogram and connect the tail to the opposite corner. And this is the addition of the two vectors. Which two vectors? v2 plus minus v1, which is basically v2 minus v1, which is what we wanted to find out, and it's coming out in this direction. Now what is this direction? Let's see. This north, this is east, so this is coming northeast. So which option are we getting? Northeast. This is wrong. Take it on. Now let us go ahead and let's do this. P and Q are two unit vectors. Okay, so more problems are there. We'll rather go to resolution of vectors. This topic, let's do this, right? So there are two more questions before this, which you are supposed to complete as your homework. This question and this question. Let's complete them. We'll go to the next topic because today is the last day. Let's complete this last topic also so that our two chapters are complete. So what is the heading here? Resolution of vectors. And here what are we going to do is we have this A vector which we are going to break it down into two parts. Right? And we are going to break it down along which direction? Along x direction and y direction. Right? So let's see how to do that. So that's what I've written here. Here basically we wish to write the given vector as sum of two other vectors such that the two other vectors are parallel to the x and y axis. That's what we're trying to achieve, right? So let's see how we'll do that. So this is your A vector. If we break it down, like if you check this part, it will be how much? A cos, okay. So we drop a perpendicular and then we measure this value, right? So how much is this? Let's see. So this value, let's call it AX, right? Means A in the x direction, AX. And to find out AX, write cos theta. So cos theta is equal to how much? AX upon A, and that gives me AX is how much? A cos theta. Got it? So we got AX. Now also we'll get AY. For that again we'll drop perpendicular on the y axis and let this be AY. So sin theta will be what? Now if this is AY, this also AY. So sin theta will be what? AY by A. Right? Perpendicular upon hypotenuse. And from where there we get the value of AY. It's coming out to be A sin. So we got both AX and AY. And similarly, what about tan theta? Tan theta will be equal to AY by AX. Then we can also write, okay, what is this vector? It is multiplied with what? Ax I cap, as this is Ay j cap. Ax is in the I cap direction, Ay is in the j cap direction, right? So I can write by triangle law of vector addition, this plus this is equal to this, right? So I can write down Axi plus Ayj is equal to A vector, right? Why we could write that? Because this is the sum, right? Because tail and tail is here and head is here. So Axi plus Ayj is equal to A vector, right? So that's by triangle of vector addition. We got it. And the magnitude, that also by Pythagoras theorem. I can also write that A square is equal to Ax square plus Ay square. That's another relation, right? So these are all the relations that we need for our further studies. So check out all the relation and tell me if there's any doubt. So let's go ahead now. Let's do this. 10 Newton at 30 degree. We have to write the positive and negative components. So basically, let's use the formula we got to find out the components here. So what was the AX equal to, if you remember, A cos theta, and what is AY equal to A sin theta, right? So simply let's write down AX and AY in this for this particular problem. So it is AX is A cos theta. If you remember, we made this formula here. AX is A cos theta and AY is A sin theta. A is how much? 10 Newton. Cos of 30. And cos 30 you know is root 3 by 2, which is equal to 5 root 3 Newton. Got it? This is theta and this is A. And AY is A sin theta, which is 10 Newton sine of 30 degree, which is 10 Newton sine 30 is 1 by 2. That gives me 5 Newton. That is AY. So we got both AX and AY. Right? Now write in component form, and AX and AY we have written. Solve by using both common sense and formula. Okay, fine. So that's enough. We got AX and AY. Let's go ahead. Let's do this one. 20 Newton. So how to deal with this? Let's see. 20 Newton. So if you drop a perpendicular here and you drop a perpendicular here, like this, like this. So how much will be this? Let us say this is, call it A, call it B, right? And 20 Newton, let's call it F, right? And this, and call this beta, right? I hope the diagram is clear. Now let's find out the value of all the quantities. So to find out A, we can write cos beta, and cos beta is what? Cos beta is A by F. So A is coming out to be what? F cos beta. Similarly, if you write sin beta, it is what? Okay, if this is B, how much is this? That's also B. So sin beta can be written as what? Perpendicular by hypotenuse means B by F. So B comes out to be F sin beta. Or you can simply write, yeah, that's it. Now check the direction. B is in this direction, so that means it will be j cap. And A is in this direction, so it will be in minus I cap. In the left direction, it is minus I cap, right? And let's find the values of A and B. So A will be how much? F means 20 Newton. Cos of 60. Cos 60 is 1 by 2. So that makes it 10 Newton. That's A. A is 10 Newton. What about B? 20 Newton sine 60. Sine 60 is root 3 by 2. So we got the value of A and B. Now let's write down the vector F. So here F vector equal to this vector plus this vector, right? So it can be written as this vector is minus AI and this vector is bj, right? So if you expand it, how do you get F vector? It is minus A is what? 10 Newton I cap plus B is 10 to 3 Newton A cap, right? So let's find out AX and AY also. So what is AX and what is AY? Let's write down. AX means coefficient of I cap and AY means coefficient of J cap. So coefficient of I cap is ax, or in this case it's not a, right? It's like f. So it is fx and fy, because the vector is f, right? F vector. So this will be fx, and this will be fy. Okay? So we got fx and fy also. Right? So we can take this down. Right? So let's go ahead and let's do this problem also. And the process will be same. Let's call this f, and this is beta, let's say. So draw a perpendicular, call this B, call this A, right? And then go ahead and find out A and B separately. So for B, what we have to write? Cos theta or sin B? Cos or sin? Which function should we write for B? It will be cos beta, right? Cos beta is B by F. Similarly, what is sin beta? Now if that is A, this is also A, right? So you can write sin beta as what? A by F. So from here B comes out to be F cos beta and A comes out to be F sin beta, right? And then you can proceed the same way like we did in the last problem. And then again, what will be the direction? This will be in the downward direction. So it will be minus j cap, and this is in the left direction. So this will be minus I cap, right? So F vector is coming out to be A into minus I cap plus B into minus j cap. Right? And then you can complete it the same way we did the last problem.